Ever walk into a room and feel like you've just waded into a swamp of negativity? That's what we're talking about today. Picture this. You're hanging out with your friends, the sun is shining, birds are singing, and you're all eating ice cream. Perfect, right? Yet somehow the conversation turns to global warming, the inevitable extinction of those singing birds, and how that ice cream is going straight to your hips. Suddenly that sunny day feels more like a thunderstorm. This, my friends, is the toxic vibe. It's like a dark cloud that hovers over your group, turning every positive into a negative. Like a vampire, it sucks out all the joy, leaving you feeling drained and gloomy. Remember, a little rain is okay, but you shouldn't need an umbrella every time you hang out with your friends. You know that feeling when you've just run a marathon in quicksand, carrying a hippo? That's an energy drain. We're not talking about the typical tiredness you feel after a long day or a strenuous workout. No, we're talking about the kind of exhaustion that seeps into your bones, dulls your senses, and leaves you feeling like a deflated balloon. That's the kind of energy drain a toxic friend can cause. Picture this, you're at a party, everyone's having a great time, then in walks your friend, who we'll call Dracula. Within minutes, Dracula has sucked the life out of the room, turning the once lively party into a funeral procession. Every conversation becomes about their problems, their issues, their drama. And by the end of the night, you're left feeling like you've been hit by a double-decker bus. Friends should lift you up, not wear you down. If you're always exhausted after hanging out, it might be time to reconsider the friendship. Who needs soap operas when you've got a toxic friend group? Let's dive into the drama central, shall we? Toxic friend groups often seem to thrive on an unhealthy amount of drama and conflict. It's like they've got an insatiable appetite for it. Picture this, a group of friends who can turn even the most trivial matter into a full-blown soap opera. Imagine you're out for a coffee run, you grab a cappuccino, your friend prefers an espresso. Suddenly it's not just about coffee preferences anymore. It's a heated debate about lifestyle choices, personality traits, and before you know it, existential crises. Who knew a simple coffee run could turn into an episode of Days of Our Lives? The thing is, these constant theatrics can be exhausting. You're not auditioning for a dramatic role, you're just trying to live your life. Life is dramatic enough without your friends turning every minor issue into a Shakespearean tragedy. Ever had a friend who's better at disappearing acts than Houdini? You know, the kind of friend who could give Bigfoot a run for his money in the elusive department. One minute you're planning a movie night and the next, they've vanished into thin air, leaving you hanging with a pair of tickets and an extra large popcorn. Or worse, they're the human embodiment of a seen message stamp with no reply. Now, we all have our off days, of course. But if this is a recurring theme, it starts to feel less like a friendship and more like a game of hide and seek. And let's be honest, who wants to play that game indefinitely? In a solid friendship, both parties should be equally invested. If it seems like you're always the one reaching out, always the one making plans, always the one left waiting, well, it might be time to reconsider. Friendship is a two-way street. If you're always the one putting in the effort, it might be time to hit the brakes. Ever feel like you're driving down a one-way street in the wrong direction? Now picture this. You're in a friendship, not the usual kind, but one where you're constantly fueling the vehicle, and your mate is always in the driver's seat, enjoying the ride. You're always there to lend a hand, an ear, or even your last slice of pizza. But when it's your turn to ask for a favor, they're suddenly busier than a bee in a field of daisies. Reminds me of a mate of mine, let's call him Dave. Dave was more demanding than a five-star diva. He'd call at 2 a.m. to rant about his latest breakup. But when I needed help moving, he was suddenly struck down with a case of convenient flu. A good friendship is a give and take. If you're always the one giving, it might be time to ask for directions. Ever had a friend who treated everything like a competition? You know what I'm talking about. That friend who, when you mention your new hobby of gardening, suddenly becomes an expert botanist. Or when you casually share that you've started getting up an hour earlier for a morning run, they reply with, "Oh, that's cute. I've been waking up at dawn for a marathon training." Let's take a fun example. Picture this. You're enjoying a quiet game of Monopoly on a lazy Sunday afternoon. You're just trying to collect a few properties, maybe even build a hotel or two. But your friend? They're treating it like the Olympics, strategizing like it's a war game, and they won't stop until they've bankrupted everyone on the board. Competition can be healthy, but if your friend is always trying to one-up you, it might be time to change the game. Ever had a friend who seemed to take pleasure in raining on your parade? You know, the type who's always ready with a downpour of negativity whenever you're about to break out the sunbeams of good news. Like a joy thief, they're always on hand to snatch away your happiness and replace it with their own brand of gloom. Let me share a little anecdote. Imagine you've got a mate who's more of a party pooper than a skunk gate-crashing a summer garden party. You've just landed your dream job and you're over the moon. But instead of joining the celebration, they start pointing out the long hours, the commute, the difficult boss. Suddenly, your dream job feels like a nightmare waiting to happen. Friends should be your cheerleaders, your champions. They should celebrate your successes, not downplay them. If your friend can't be happy for you, it might be time to find a new cheerleader. Ever feel like you're stuck in a time warp with your friends? Well, that's what we're diving into now, the infamous no-growth zone. Imagine being a tree, rooted in the same spot, while the rest of the forest around you grows and changes. That's what it's like being in a friend group that doesn't want you to grow or change. I once had a mate, let's call him Bob. Bob was more resistant to change than a stubborn mule. If I so much as mentioned trying a new restaurant, Bob would look at me as though I'd suggested we start a moon rock collection. And heaven forbid I'd mention career advancement or self-improvement. Bob would scoff and say, "What's wrong with the way things are?" Well, my friends, nothing's wrong with the way things are, unless they're holding you back. Growth is a part of life. If your friends can't handle that, it might be time to leave them in the past. Ever had a friend who treated your personal space like a public park? You know the one? The friend who's more invasive than a swarm of mosquitoes at a summer barbecue. Let's call our friend Boundary-Busting Barry. Barry has an uncanny knack for showing up unannounced, borrowing your stuff without asking, and sharing your secrets like they're juicy gossip. He's got less respect for your personal space than a nosy neighbor peeking through your curtains. Remember that time when Barry borrowed your favorite shirt, wore it to a food fight and returned it looking like a Jackson Pollock painting? Or when he decided to share your secret love for cheesy pop music at a hardcore metal gig? Having friends is like having a garden. Each person is a unique flower, needing space to grow and bloom. But Barry? He's trampling all over your tulips. Respect is a key part of any friendship. If your friend can't respect your boundaries, it might be time to build a fence. Before we continue, do us a favor and smash that like button. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue making content that matters. And hey, if you're finding this video useful, why not hit that subscribe button too? Future You Will Thank present you for always being in the know about toxic friendships and more. Plus, it's free, so go on, tap those buttons and join our community. Now let's get back to the signs you're in a toxic friend group. Ever had a friend who was a master at the guilt trip? You know the type. They could make you feel like a villain for eating the last slice of pizza. Picture this. You're at a get-together. You reach for the last cheesy delight, and there they are, giving you the puppy dog eyes. "Oh, I was saving that for my second cousin's friend's sister's dog walker," they'd say. And just like that, you're the pizza-stealing monster. But here's the deal. That's not friendship, it's manipulation. They're using guilt as a way to control your actions and reactions, to bend you to their will. It's like being in a never-ending courtroom drama, where you're always found guilty. And the penalty is a constant sense of unease. Guilt trips are a manipulative tactic. If your friend is always making you feel guilty, it might be time to pack your bags. So there you have it, folks. From the constant drama to the one-way streets, we've navigated the signs of a toxic friend group. We've seen how the joy thieves lurk and how the comparison game can play out. We've delved into the guilt trips and the ghosting acts, and we've explored how these no-growth zones and boundaryless spaces can drain your energy. Remember, friends should lift you up, not bring you down. If any of these signs sound familiar, it might be time to reconsider your friend group. That's all we have for today, folks. We've navigated the murky waters of toxic friendships together, and we hope you found this journey enlightening. Remember, your time and energy are precious, so invest them wisely. If you enjoyed our voyage, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more enlightening content. We've got a lot more to explore together. So until next time, remember, choose friends who choose you.
Savored this video? Fancy another? Click the on-screen video for an even deeper dive into fresh territory. Your support is like a warm cuppa on a brisk day. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, ring that bell for the latest content. Cheers for watching.